Hi all, this is Elle on Wheels. This is about my trip to Biscayne National Park and Dry Tortugas National Park, and a little bit about why I was there, which was for my brother's wedding in Miami in May of 2023. I flew into Miami late in the evening, rented a car, spent the first night in an Airbnb. Then I drove down to Key West, where I boarded a seaplane to go to the Dry Tortugas National Park. There are only two ways that you can get to Dry Tortugas, by seaplane or by ferry, because it's about 70 miles off the coast of Key West. I chose the seaplane just because I thought it would be a really, really neat trip. Part of the area is closed off because the key is home to the largest breeding colony of snooty and brown naughty terns in the continental United States. So they were quite active flying around while I was there. Fort Jefferson is the largest all-masonry fort in the United States and was built between 1846 and 1875, but it was never finished because of supply issues throughout the Civil War and things like that. It was very hard to get the materials and the people they needed out there to work on it. The fort was used as a prison at one time, mainly for Union deserters, and its most famous resident was Dr. Samuel Mudd, who was the physician who set the broken leg of John Wilkes Booth. I did do some snorkeling, but I do not have any footage of that because my GoPro decided to corrupt the files and I couldn't get anything off my GoPro. We saw a lot of things from the seaplane, including this shipwreck that's seen here, along with a lot of sea turtles and dolphins. Here we are approaching Key West again. The plane does take off and land at Key West International Airport. After returning to Key West, I did head over to Mallory Square to catch the sunset. I was a little late getting there, so I didn't get a prime spot for it, but I did get to watch the sunset. And then I went and got some dinner at a Cuban restaurant that I don't remember the name of and didn't take any pictures of, and then headed back to my hotel. The next morning on my drive back to Miami, I did stop off at Ann's Beach Park. I mainly stopped there because my daughter's name is Ann, spelled with an E, so I thought I would check it out. I stayed in the North Beach Surfside area of Miami Beach. On the following day was the day of my brother's wedding. I did have some time in the morning to spend on the beach. Then I got ready for the wedding and then went to the fancy country club where his wedding was held. One really neat thing at the wedding is they had their own private fireworks display. I did speed up this video just because I knew you didn't want to watch 3 minutes worth of fireworks. My last day in Miami, I went to Biscayne National Park. I took the Boca Chita Key Heritage Cruise from Coconut Grove rather than driving all the way down to Homestead. We did go to Boca Chita Key. We did see the lighthouse that was built by Mark Honeywell in the 1930s. He owned the island at that point in time, and interesting fact is the lighthouse was never actually lit because it's on the wrong side of the land, and incoming boats would think that it was clear up to the lighthouse when it's not, so it was never allowed to be lit. Boca Chita Key is pretty much a party place. When we were there were a lot of boats that were coming out for the weekend. They were going to spend the weekend out living on their boats and partying on the island. It's very, very beautiful. We had a very nice visit there. As we left Boca Chita, we could see downtown Miami off in the distance, and then not too long after the boat stopped because we saw a group of mom and baby dolphins, so we stopped to watch them for a while. next thing we saw was Stiltsville. Stiltsville was built during Prohibition times is when it started. It was built because they could have liquor, they could have gambling out there because it was far enough from the shore that they didn't have to worry about getting caught doing anything. And even into the 80s, it was still a place where people would go out on the weekends, tie up their boats, and party. Now, I think they are all pretty much abandoned. They're not safe anymore. Many of them have been destroyed by hurricanes and such. But it was a really interesting thing to see. And all this was a very good 4 days in Miami and Key West, and I got to knock 2 national parks off my bucket list.